That's part 2. I ramble on about a whole lot of shite, don't I? I never seem to get anywhere. Yeah, so I was cuckooed out my house, and I will tell that whole story eventually again. I'll tell the whole story. I'll get there. It's making me more inclined to get there faster. The more pain that they direct towards me, it's making me want to get it out before, before whatever's going to happen happens. Who knows? I don't know. I know it'd be impossible for someone to put up with that kind of pain for, a really any amount of time. It would. And it's funny, the kind of direct conversations, and this old man made sure he walked past me the other day, and he said, he had his hand on his head, and he went, the pain is just getting too much. And he was on his own, he wasn't fucking talking to anyone, he just made sure that he walked past me saying it, I thought, you horrible old dick, you horrible, horrible old dick. How could you? I don't know. Get into that about how these people can do what they do. I don't understand it, I never will. But yeah, when I was cuckooed out my house, I stopped paying my mortgage. They wanted me to carry on. I was told, we're moving in now and you're going to continue paying the mortgage. And I was kind of smart enough at the time to think, that's not going to fucking happen, is it? Excuse me, just wipe my nose. So I stopped paying the mortgage, and that was 3 years ago. It was 3 years ago next month, so it was April, it'll be 3 years. So I stopped paying the mortgage. I haven't paid my mortgage in 3 years. And I stayed in the house for a certain amount of time, and then the target and the stuff that they were doing just got too much. It was unbearable, So I packed a bag, some clothes and a photograph, and I left. I just left. I got in my car and left. Slept in my car for a while. Was homeless for a while. Slept in a tent for a while. Eventually sold my car, just for a bit of cash. And then was homeless. Slept in a tent for a little while. But anyway, it's not what the point I was trying to make. But I stopped paying the mortgage 3 years ago, and about a year and a half ago I got in touch with the company, the solicitors that were dealing with it, and they wanted all this information, and I said, just, there's equity in that house. When my dad died when I was 24, and he left a bit of money to me and my brother, and I'd put it towards a property. So I had money in the house, there was equity in it. So about a year and a half ago I said to them, just let it get repossessed. I've no plans on going back there. All my stuff's still in that house. Everything that I owned everything that I'd ever owned for 40 years. But I just left. I just walked away with a bag, and that was it. And that's how bad the situation was, No one that was experienced, that wasn't experiencing a really hellish situation would have took that action. Nobody, that's how that's how I think. People know how bad it was that these people made it. People know how bad that situation was. There's no way in a million years I would have walked away from everything. And I mean everything, The two people that I love, I was kind of forced out of their lives. But again, I'll get into that another time. So 18 months ago I contacted the solicitors dealing with this repossession, and I said, just repossess the place. And I've not dealt with it. I've put it off for the last year and a half because, it's difficult. I find it difficult to deal with things. I find it difficult to deal with paperwork stuff and talking on the phone with people, and I know every word I say is being recorded, and the banks were very much involved with my targeting, so were solicitors, etc. So I kind of thought for the longest time, sod it, just leave it, I don't care, they can have it. If they desperately want it that much, they can have it. But this year I've been thinking, I can't stay here forever, and to do what it is that I want to do, it'd be good to have a little bit of money in my pocket. So a couple of weeks ago I decided to contact them, and they said, now I'll just reiterate that it's been 3 years that this mortgage hasn't been paid. This house has been sitting. I don't know whether these people eventually moved in once I moved out, who knows. I kind of presume that they did, but I've no way of knowing. So yeah, I contacted them a couple of weeks ago, and they said, oh well, there was a court date on the 7th of March. It's quite interesting that the same month I choose to contact them, there was a court date, isn't it? So it must have been, it's kind of these things are in your mind, and they're kind of sent for you to try and sort them out at certain times. But anyway, yeah, but she said, I went, oh, okay, what happened? And she went, oh no, we just dismissed it because we hadn't heard from you. So now we're going to start the whole process again. And I said, what are you joking, aren't you? She went, no, we're going to start the whole process again. So that's where we are now. In the last 3 years, I think there's been, they've been gathering this up, so it's been ongoing. So there's been £18,000, I believe, in missed mortgage payments that they're taking. They're going to manage to take off the equity of my home at the end, you know. So that's what they're doing. It's just they're keeping it as a rolling process. They're keeping it, the money's keeping being owed every month, and that's exactly what they want. They want me destitute. They want me with absolutely nothing. They want me to have no money. If there was a pound left for me to get out of that house, they would want to make sure that I didn't get that pound. Like I said, these people are all involved. I could name a few solicitors in Scotland, and I will eventually, and tell you the way that they were involved in my targeting. And it all stems back to my parents and things that they experienced. It all stems back, and you know, it stems back to what my dad did as a job, and a situation that my parents found themselves in. It stems back to speaking out and saying about things, you know, and certain people don't like it, and I am cursed, I suppose, with the same kind of big mouth. And some might call it being a grass. I don't care for those clowns. You call it being a grass if you want, you know. I think it's kind of the right thing to do when someone's been murdered, to be a grass, or you know, when someone's been thrown out their house, to be a grass, or you know, when someone's been targeted, to be a grass, or when someone is a murdering paedophile, to be a grass, and to name them. But it doesn't work. It doesn't work for you. It doesn't work for you. You don't come out the best in those situations. And unfortunately, that's kind of what's happened now. So I just thought it interesting that the same time that I go to see if there's any equity left in a property that I own, and start the process of trying to, you know, sort this situation out after 3 years. You know, what mortgage company would keep a house empty and have mortgage payments rolling over for 3 years? You know, I advise you all, if you have a mortgage, to just stop paying your mortgage, and you'll get at least 3 years worth of living there rent free. You know, mortgage free. Do it, I say, do it. It's not normal, is it? It's not normal. Not by any means, you know. No one could say that was a normal situation. Usually these places are desperate to get their property back, but obviously there's equity in there, and the equity would go to me. So in this situation, they're quite happy for it all to be eaten up in solicitors' fees and missed mortgage payments. That's exactly their plan. It's yeah, but the same time that I go and try and sort that out, you know, the heat, the hairdryer type heat to my head has been constant since then, you know. Since then, and since the Wi-Fi outing. It's yeah, I don't know which is to blame, or maybe it's a combination of both. Who knows? You know, we're just going to do this to you now that you've decided that you want some money. How fucking dare you? We want you to have nothing. Yeah. So that's why I come out and walk every day. I walk at least 6 miles every day. Sometimes more. Actually, I've had a big brew. I don't know if you can see. There. I can't point and film at the same time. There, do it in my shadow. There. Don't know if you can see that. A big bruise on my hand. I fell asleep one night with my hand up to my head because it was just constant in the one spot. And I woke up in the morning with that. It's faded now. It's a couple of weeks old. I woke up to that bruise on my head, my hand, sorry. So God knows what it's doing to my head, you know. Who knows? Try to fry my brain. Try to fry my brain. It's I should probably be worried about that if I was a bit more intelligent, you know. So I don't think they need to worry about me outsmarting them somehow. Maybe naming them. Yeah, definitely naming them. They need to worry about that. But for all my, you know, all my people that watch my videos to see who don't have a fucking clue who it is that I would be talking about anyway, you know, I don't think it's much of a worry to them. Maybe they should be worried, I don't know. Maybe they should. Good. It's good if they're worried. It's good. I don't know. What is it they're doing? Try to get me to leave. So I walk away and I move again and I don't change my address again, and none of these letters from the bank get to me and, you know, make the process all a lot more difficult. It's funny, I said to them, when I spoke to her on the phone, I said, can you send me this information? Can you email it to me? You know, this information about you know, dismissing the court date and starting this process again. You know, it sounds a bit dodgy to me, to be fair. Can you send me the information? Just email me. And she went, yeah, sure, we'll send you all the information. They sent me this note, this unsigned note. I think they're called TLLT Solicitors. And they've got branches. I presume the branch that is dealing with this will be in Glasgow. It's the closest kind of place to where my house is. So she sent me this email with this note on it. It was unsigned, you know, and it's addressed to, it's not even my name, it was addressed to Mrs. Forsyth, and that's not my name, you know, that's the name of a paedophile murderer. That isn't my name, but I find that very interesting as well, that one of the people who tried to cuckoo me out my house, the letter regarding my mortgage, is addressed to them. You know, it's just it's just another little funny, interesting fact about this corrupt situation with these corrupt solicitors, corrupt police, corrupt banks, corruption all the way through, especially in Scotland, home of the Freemasons. It's not what you know, is it? It's definitely not what you know. Anyway, I think I've rambled on enough here, part 2. Nothing else to say. I shaved my head this morning. I shaved my head because I thought, if that bruise is on my hand, then I want to be able to see what's on my head. So I look like one of those unmarried pregnant women in the 50s that got their head shaved and kicked out of the house. You know, I did it myself, so it's probably looks an absolute riot from the back, but who cares? Who knows? It's easy to keep, isn't it? I've cut my hair for years by myself, even when I kind of started, when it was about shoulder length, and then I had it in a cropped kind of style, that pixie style, for a couple of years, and I just decided, sod it, shave it. I'm sick of buying shampoo. Just shave it, be done with it. So yeah, I'm walking about with probably see the reflection of my cap, walking about with a cap on, so I look even more manly. Maybe be able to see the bruises when they show up in my head. I'll maybe be able to film them. We'll see. Anyway, you take care. God bless you all. Lots of love. Bye bye.